40 years later, her family still has no closure about what happened to her. Frank Resta decided it's time, and he is offering a $500 reward for any information that any one of you in Franklin Township may have regarding this incident. Anything that you can tell us about Sharon, about the scene, about anything that may help in apprehending the people responsible for her death. In the course of this, Frank, over the weekend, had the occasion to have dinner with his dear friend, Mr. Miklos, and he's going to introduce him. He has decided to partner with Frank in raising the $500. Now it is $1,000. Miklos contributing his share of $500. And we invite you, on the basis of this, to do the same. If you want to see justice served, this is going to go toward any of the discoveries that may be required to give this family some kind of peace of mind about their child. Frank, tell us a little bit about your involvement in this. How did you get interested in doing this? And the fact that you brought your friend Miklos in it, which is just wonderful.
So the Franklin Township Police Department have a Citizens Academy. And the week of the detectives coming in mentioning it, I was like, oh, my God, it was so vivid that it brought me right back. And the classmates started talking about it, and we came up with this idea. So rolling with it, I want to thank the Franklin Reporter for bringing it to the public. I am getting a lot of people talking. I'll just leave it at that, which is good. And that's what we're asking right now, to send this out, especially to the classes of the graduation of the year. I believe around 77, 78, 80, the year of her classmates, because we know it was someone close. And there was just little nits of groups back then. So once again, but I'm going to just back up into your question about Miklos, who's been a friend and just an outstanding person his whole life. So we had dinner together with significant others and his son, little Mick, and I happened to show your video to him. So it touched something in him to say,
definitely get involved in this.
This is Miklos, Franklin.
I would definitely get involved in a situation like this. I do remember the incident when it occurred, and when Frank was mentioning it, I was shocked that it wasn't ever closed. I thought at that time they definitely had a suspect and they closed it. I do remember the incident just by the talk of the town. Like you said, it was small. Basically, my say was they found her rolled up in a rug, and and that was just visualizing this scenario in the area where, granted, not just me, but a lot of the people. We had trails. We used to dirt bike and ride out there, and this is where it happened. So again, it like Frank mentioned, it couldn't be too big of a crowd. It has to be someone in this area. And to have it not closed is amazing.
Well, it's horrific on any level. I do understand, and please tell us what you're able to understand about the DNA that seems to be there somewhere.
Yes. So obviously, I was told that they have the suspected murder weapons, and I believe like a 2x4, some type of log. I didn't see it, but I do believe that it is in evidence, and possibly a brick, and that there is DNA. So,
and this is the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office.
Actually, this was the Franklin Township Detective Office talking about the case. So, but I do know that things have changed, and something like this, I believe the prosecutor, Somerset County, would have that. I don't know that. Once again, I'm not a police officer. I'm just trying to do some closure for the family and the town on the only unsolved murder in Franklin Township.
Well, I think what you're trying to do is help this family sleep at night. And to that end, I know Crime Stoppers has a phone number for tips that you may have. Don't call Frank Resta with the tips. Call Crime Stoppers. And what is that phone number, Frank?
1-888-577-TIPS or 8477. Or, if you could pick up, these are at the supermarkets, Starbucks, the Franklin Reporter, and the numbers, and there's also an email in there that you could send information to. So any information on any of this would be appreciated, and you would call or email them. And if, the email, I'm not going to read it out. You could get the paper. You could stop in here. We have them here. We hand them out also. So that would be the proper thing to do, is to call the. Now, I also want to add that I'm not sure, but there may be additional money from the Crime Stoppers in reference to this, and I guess we're going to find that out a little bit down the road, right?
Well, we'll see. We don't have all of that information as yet. But right now, the Franklin Township pool has risen, thanks to Miklos and, of course, Frank Resta, to $1,000. So, Franklin, if you would like to be a part of this, Frank, do they call you directly to contribute further?
Yes, and I'm going to give my cell phone, and that would be 732-887-7773. Now, that's only if you want to ante up to the reward for the apprehension of the murderer or murderers. Because, like the mother said, she believes there was two. There was a witness, unfortunately a young child, that did see her get in a car with two young men. And the mother said one guy would not be able to do this to her daughter. It had to be two. So that's just a little something there.
God, I can't fathom what this mother and the rest of the family must be going through, Franklin. And yes, it was 40 years ago, but that hurt, that wound is still fresh every time they see something that may remind them of their daughter, remind them of the child who was brutally taken from them. So once again, Crime Stoppers, let's just repeat that phone number for any tip information, which is not to say, Franklin, if you come in here and you utilize Restas for your car care and your fuel needs, that if you have a tip, that Frank won't listen to you. He'll absolutely listen to you, but he will also make sure that it gets to the proper authorities so that something can be done about it. So again, Frank, that Crime Stoppers number is
1-888-577-TIPS or 8477. 8477 is the last four digits.
And the phone number, again, to contribute to this kitty that's growing to help solve this.
So you could call the station, you could stop in, ask for me, not my employees, and the number here is 732-873-8900. Call my cell, 732-887-7773.
And again, Franklin, if you don't know, Frank Resta has a history of fundraising and doing good for this community. He has a long history with the Jerry Lewis Telethon information that goes back several years. But Frank Resta is a man of this community who wants to write something in this community. So please take down those numbers that he just mentioned to you. Go to Stop and Shop or come right here to Resta's to pick up your copy of the monthly digest and see his ad in it, that you can take that home as well. But Franklin, it's about doing the right thing. It is about assisting a family to give them final closure about what happened to their daughter. None of this will bring her back, but at least they will have some reason to be able to sleep at night knowing. Make a difference, Franklin. It's up to you as well as Miklos and Frank Resta and anybody else who joins with them. This is your community. Do the right thing. And this is PJ Parker, Franklin Reporter and Advocate, saying thank you for tuning in. We'll be doing periodic updates as soon as we have more to tell you. And we'll be back.